PM Theresa May has struck a last-minute deal with the EU in a bid to move Brexit talks onto the next phase. There will be no hard border with Ireland, and EU citizens in the UK and UK citizens in the EU will see their rights protected. The so-called divorce bill will amount to between £35 billion and £39 billion, Downing Street says. The European Commission president said it was a breakthrough, and he was confident EU leaders will approve it. They are due to meet next Thursday for a European Council summit and need to give their backing to the deal if post-Brexit trade talks are to begin. The UK will then have about a year to hammer out an agreement on future relations, which will have to be ratified by the EU nations and the UK Parliament before the UK leaves in March 2019. Northern Ireland's Democratic Unionist Party, whose opposition on Monday led to talks breaking down, said there was still more work to be done on the border issue, and how it votes on the final deal will depend on its contents. Mrs May depends on the party's support to win key votes in Westminster. The pound was trading at a 6-month high against the euro as news broke of the draft agreement. What has been agreed? Guarantee that there will be no hard border between Northern Ireland and the Republic, and that the constitutional and economic integrity of the United Kingdom will be maintained. The DUP says this means no red line down the Irish Sea, separating Northern Ireland from the rest of the UK. EU citizens living in the UK and vice versa will have their rights to live, work and study protected. The agreement includes reunification rights for relatives who do not live in the UK to join them in their host country in the future financial settlement. No specific figure is in the document, but Downing Street says it will be between £35 billion and £40 billion, including budget contributions during a 2-year transition period after March 2019. The Irish border and regulatory alignment. How the border between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic will operate when Northern Ireland has left the EU remains a contentious issue. The UK government and the EU want to maintain the free flow of goods without border checks that they fear could threaten a return to the Troubles, but the DUP does not want Northern Ireland to be treated differently to the rest of the UK after Brexit. Friday's deal document says any future deal must protect North-South cooperation and hold to the UK's guarantee of avoiding a hard border. It also says that, if no UK-EU trade deal is agreed, the UK would maintain full alignment with elements of the EU single market and customs union which support the economy of the island of Ireland and the Good Friday Agreement, such as agriculture and energy. EU negotiator Michel Barnier told journalists that alignment would apply only to the island of Ireland, not the rest of the UK. Although some Brexiteers have read it as meaning the whole of the UK would have to abide by some EU rules. The agreement also says no new regulatory barriers will be allowed between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK, and that Northern Ireland's businesses will continue to have unfettered access to the UK internal market, a passage thought to have been added to meet DUP concerns. Some in the DUP would also have liked to remove the phrase full alignment from the report, but that would not have been acceptable to the Irish government, says the BBC's Chris Morris. Citizens' rights agreement has been reached on what happens to the 3 million EU citizens living in the UK and more than 1 million UK citizens in EU states after Brexit. EU citizens would be allowed to live and work in the UK in line with current freedom of movement principles, and those already in the country who do not yet have permanent residency would be able to acquire it after Brexit. The plan is that UK citizens in the EU would get the same rights or reciprocal protection. The agreement covers rights for relatives to join citizens in host countries, including future spouses. The divorce bill figure is not mentioned in the text of the agreement, but Downing Street says it will be between £35 billion and £39 billion, higher than Theresa May indicated in September, but lower than some estimates. It will be paid over several years, and the precise figure is unlikely to be known for some time. The Prime Minister said it would be fair to the British taxpayer and would mean the UK in future will be able to invest more in our priorities at home, such as housing, schools and the NHS. EU Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier said the EU had agreed to drop the cost of relocating UK-based EU agencies from the final divorce bill.